If you've been scouring the internet trying to figure out how to increase your current credit limits, this is the video for you. In this video, we're going to be sitting down with my man Cal Barton, and he's going to be breaking down all of his current strategies for how to get your credit limits increased in just 24 hours or less. So let's go ahead and head right into this video. Cal, why don't you go ahead and kind of just introduce yourself, let people know who you are for members of my audience that don't know.
First off, LaJuan, thank you for having me back again. So I help people increase their credit limits. That's my number one value proposition. Yeah, so.
Got it. Absolutely, man. So I don't want to waste any of your time. I don't want to waste any of the audience time. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So obviously we're in a new year. It's 2025, right? And so what are some of the changes that have been going on in the personal credit space, personal credit world, that, people may not know or they need to know?
Yeah, I would say number one would be that criteria for getting approved is tightening up. Banks are getting more skittish. They are requiring people to have higher FICO scores. And, I've seen it on even recently on the Amex landing page for their business line of credit. I believe it started at like a 600 FICO score. It creeped up to 620. Now it's at like a 660. So those requirements are going up. Got to know that. A lot of people don't understand that banks change their criteria from month to month or season to season. And so they're making minor adjustments based on what the economics of, their customers are showing them. So, you're going to have to have higher FICO scores. You're going to have to come in with better payment histories. And so you have to think that the credit debt is over $1 trillion. I think it's over 1.1 trillion at this point. So
crazy.
And default rates are the highest they've been in the last 5 years or so. So banks see that and they are getting scared.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm telling people all the time, like it's really, we're getting into times where credit is going to be the most important asset that you have to you outside of just being, having good liquidity, right? So with that being said, a lot of people that watch my videos, I talk about business funding, right? That's my thing. My question to you is, explain for the people that may not know how like credit limit increases actually work.
Okay. Yeah, great question. Well, a bank, you're building a relationship with any bank that you have a card with. And I have kind of 12 steps to increasing your credit limit. But the number one thing is they're going to be looking at your spending. They want to see what is your activity. What are you actually using your credit limit? Typically, banks want to see you spending upwards of 50% of that credit limit to give you that automatic increase, or they're going to be watching that. So if you do request a manual increase, they have it to where it's justified. They can see you're actually using the card. They don't want those cards to go dormant. That's the thing they don't want. So that's one thing. And then they want to see that you are making deposits into the bank. So direct deposits are huge. So if you have your paycheck or a portion of your paycheck going in, even if it's not, thousands of dollars, it could be a couple $100 going in there monthly. That's going to make a big, it's going to make a big statement to the bank that I'm here. I'm wanting to extend, get closer in a relationship status with this bank.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, another like kind of segue out of that, that I just thought about right now with credit limit increases, like say for people that maybe are carrying a balance, right? Is there like a certain threshold of utilization they need to be at on that particular card? Or is it, just kind of like what are banks looking for there in terms of like utilization is concerned? Like from, I guess, month to month, or does it matter if they've been carrying the balance and they just paid it off, trying to get a credit limit increase? Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah. So if you're trying to increase your limit, you don't need to carry a balance. Because ideally you're paying off that balance in full every month so that you don't incur any interest. And banks do, and this is what a bank insider said anonymously, but it was an insider and I believe it. It was that they want to see large pay downs. And so their biggest priority is getting paid back first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say your limit is $10,000 and you
Mm-hmm.
use 5,000, so 50% of it. They want to
Mm-hmm.
see that 5,000 paid within that 30-day or that grace period. And most of the time, if you average it out, I'd say you want to use at least 50% plus of the limit to guarantee the increase. Now, that's not set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other factors that they're going to take into account, but
Mm-hmm.
the more you use, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, from my experience with Capital One, I've used as little as $70 to $0 some months, but all the other factors were just fine, and they were able to
Mm-hmm.
increase my limit by $1,000 on my Quicksilver card, for example.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
That's some good game right there. So you didn't even use that card like that, and you were still able to get a credit limit increase on that, right?
yeah. I would attribute that to some other things I was doing, like I did a product change. I think
Mm-hmm.
that
Of
was banks have a lot of banks have an internal score. Like Navy Federal
course.
has an internal score,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when you're using features and you're using um, more benefits that the
Mm-hmm.
bank's offering you, a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
you might get an email about a new balance transfer offer. If you're actually engaging with the bank and you're clicking on things and you're actually using it in their savings
Mm-hmm.
accounts, they're going to look
Right.
at that positively. And so I did I did a product change from a Quicksilver into a Venture X card, and I
Mm-hmm.
was able to get two increases within 60 days. Um, and
Wow.
I barely use the card. Um,
Okay.
Another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is manually requesting an increase after every statement cuts. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
big favor of continuously asking because it doesn't hurt your credit score. Most
Mm-hmm.
banks have moved over from um, uh, to a policy where they don't penalize you, they don't punish you for actually requesting. So really, yeah, so it's just a soft credit pull, and it doesn't hurt you, and you'll never know when you can get that back to back increase. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're really aggressive about increasing your limit, you'd be surprised at how fast you can do it if you just request after every statement.
Absolutely. No, that's a good game right there. So just, making sure you always try to go out and get credit limit increases. Again, as long as it's a soft pull, because I know there's a few banks that still do hard pulls. So, I'm always telling
Sure.
people that like make sure it's soft pulls, and
Hmm.
then it's basically free game after that, right? So with that being said, let people know that's watching, like, what are some of the best hacks to get your credit limit increases, like in a quick manner, like, because obviously
Hmm.
these things can happen in 24 hours of everything is lined up. So like what are some of the best hacks that are working right now that you've seen?
Yeah, I would say that so if you first sign up for a credit card, one thing that I've seen work sometimes is that let's say you get approved for that Capital One Quicksilver card. It's good to just try and call in before you actually activate the card and say, hey, can I, this limit is too low. I was planning on some big purchases coming up over the next few months. And
Mm-hmm.
you want to tie those, anytime you talk to customer service, you want to tie um, your purchases with a happy life event. I call them happy life events. So like getting married or having a
Yeah.
child or
Mm-hmm.
renovating a bedroom, like,
Mm-hmm.
making a nursery, things like that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense for a growing family, or it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be a growing family. It could be going to college. You're trying to, buy some dorm room equipment, things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to know that your life is going well, and it's not that you're in dire need of money because you're
Right.
trying to pay off past debt or something like that.
Right. Right.
So I would
Right.
definitely be aggressive in the request before you even activate the card. I've seen people get increases that way, and even just a couple weeks after activating the card. So if you're spending, I guess if you're spending a decent amount, when you first get the card.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I would do is when you're signing up for these credit cards, add an authorized user. One practice I always use is I add my wife as an authorized user. I've
Mm-hmm.
had good results with uh, uh, using my whole mentality is using every option and offer the bank offers me if it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense for me. And so if a balance transfer makes sense, use that balance transfer. If you have a spouse or, a loved one that you trust, add them on as an authorized user. It's gonna help them out because they're piggybacking off your credit, but also that's another credit card that the bank wants somebody else to have. They want to get that spending up. That helps them
Mm-hmm.
with their interchange fees. So they
Yeah.
like that. I've already said that you want to manually request. A lot of people forget to do this. They forget
Yeah.
to, they might request every year or year plus. And so
Mm-hmm.
they're missing out on limit increases.
Right.
I said direct deposits, that's big.
Mm-hmm.
And you also want to increase the limits of your other credit cards. So the limits of your other credit cards impact the one that you're targeting. So
Big time.
you don't want to just increase that one credit card limit. You want to work on all your cards at the same time as far as
Mm-hmm.
requesting those increases, because as you alluded to earlier, banks are looking at comparable credit. And so typically what you see is when you sign up for these credit cards, they're going to give you a similar limit to the cards you already have. And now they are taking into account your income, but they're also using comparable credit because they're looking at how other banks are treating you and how you're engaging with other banks. And also increasing your income. That's huge, right? You want to use your household income. A lot of people don't understand that it is well within your right and it's lawful to
Yeah.
count everyone in your household that you have reasonable access to their income. And so
Right.
if you have three adults in the house that are earning, 100K, and you earn 100K, then you want to claim 300K on that application.
Absolutely. Yeah, the household income thing. A lot of people don't know that. They can put their, if you got a spouse or what significant other, what have you, you can put those incomes together on credit applications. So, that's huge, man. And so, I know you got to get out of here, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Lastly, I wanted to ask, what are some of the best banks right now that they just give out credit limit increases that you've seen? 'Cause I know you do this frequently, right? So what are some of the best banks in terms of just like how often they give them out, or
Yeah,
the best approval odds, I should say, that someone may have at those institutions? What are those?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
As I've last checked, I'm going to go with the tried and true, and that's going to be uh, the Apple Card. That's been big. I've seen a lot of people, I'm working from personal experience. And I don't have any Apple products, but my wife has an Apple Card, and she's getting like automatic increases. And a lot of people don't even pay attention to it. They just get these increases in the background. But I've seen her get like 2 or 3 increases with that. And I've seen people online giving testimonials a lot about how liberal Goldman Sachs has been with that card. Then another one would be Discover. Discover is huge. They let you in the door with their secured IT card, and then you can graduate after 6 to 7 months into their fully unsecured Discover IT card, and you can get increases as soon as every 30 days. So that's a big one as well. And then at third, I would go to credit unions. So if you have a local credit union, I definitely want to give a shout out to them because they're known for giving high starting limits in the beginning and then quickly raising you up to their maximum of 25K. So, and this goes for most of them. So you could say Dover Federal, you could say Penn Fed as well. And of course, Navy Federal, if you can qualify to get in. And then definitely Amex, I can't forget them. Amex is big because they have what they call a 3X increase. So basically after, I think, 6 months, I believe, it might be 90 days, that you can actually request 3 times your starting limit. So if let's say they let you in the door for 5K, then when you request an increase, you want to shoot for 15K.
Right. Right. Yeah. Now that's one of the OG ones right there. Yeah. The 3-time credit limit increase hack with American Express. Yeah, no, that's a really good one, man. Yeah, no, everything that you've been dropping, man, is just complete game, in my opinion. Credit limit increases are just a huge part of someone's credit profile. We were talking about comparable credit. That obviously plays a factor into the business funding side of things. So, before I let you go, Cal, I'd be remiss if I didn't, let everybody know that's watching, what you got, where you're at. So let people know, obviously your channel's Cal Burton is your name. But let people know what you got and what you kind of got going on your side of things.
Well, yeah, definitely check me out on YouTube. That's where I'm most active. If you want a big thing that people have been loving over the past year is my free pre-approval kind of credit card list. Basically, I have a running list of over 65 cars that you can see your pre-approval status, and some of them will even show your starting limit before you're approved. So definitely check that out. If you want a link to it, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will have everything that he's talking about linked in the description for you guys. So Cal, definitely appreciate you coming on, dropping a lot of gems for people that are looking to increase their current credit limits, man. And I hope to have you back on soon.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for having me this time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, if you already have a 700 plus credit score and you're looking for business funding, but you're tired of guessing or trying to figure this out all on your own, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment. It's going to take you to a page where you can book a time to speak with us about getting your business funded. We'll go ahead and sit down with you, break down and analyze your business, see where you're at, and see if it makes sense for you to work with us in our mentorship program to get you business funding in under 30 days. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoyed today's content. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications so you will be notified every time I drop a new video. And if you want to learn how I got over 500K in business funding leveraging my Omni growth strategy, go ahead and click the video on the screen right now.